So many women want to be a muse for the man in their life, right? But if you're not your own greatest source of inspiration, how on earth are you going to inspire a man? Hello, if you're new here, my name is Bethany of The Created Feminine. I have a background in psychology and I do coaching and mentorship with women to help them really master the art of self leadership and feminine embodiment and emotional intelligence that is absolutely next level. So if that's for you, make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe. So today we're going to be talking about a phrase, a word that I've seen thrown around for years in like the coaching space and in social media that I think hasn't been contemplated deeply enough. And I am nothing if not a deep thinker. So I'm here to teach you how to actually be a muse rather than the way that maybe you've been taught before. So I'm going to break this down into 3 parts. So first, I want to talk about what being a muse actually means, because if you look throughout history, every great artist, every great poet and writer had a muse, and almost always that was a woman in his life that he had some kind of romantic inclination towards, right? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but most of the time, that's like the archetype of the muse. A woman who inspires a man so deeply, like he wants to either move mountains for her or write sonnets about her. Think about Helen of Troy. Absolute muse, right? Like nearly brought down kingdoms due to who she was. If you think about Cleopatra and how much she inspired the men around her and how she did it, I won't dive into that here, but she is fascinating and so intelligent, and she didn't do it with her beauty. She did it with her wit and intelligence and wisdom and ability to really inspire action in the men around her because she understood men so deeply. And then again, every great writer, poet, painter, etc., had either a muse or multiple muses in his life. So to be a muse doesn't mean performing femininity or pretending to be just so interesting that men are inspired to do things around you, because that's temporary, right? That's why so many of these artists had muses for a while and they would move on to the next muse and would get bored eventually. So to be a muse that is everlasting, so much of it has to do with having purpose and direction and presence and truly understanding men, right? So men don't fall in love with chaos. They fall in love with clarity. They fall in love with the woman who is purpose driven and who is magnetic through her presence because she knows what it is that she's after in this life. And she orients everything around her around that purpose and direction. That's truly inspiring to men. So the woman who truly embodies feminine energy, like she has a feminine essence, not performing femininity, not like wearing white flowy dresses and prancing around. I mean, that's sweet. And I do that too, so I understand. But that's not the essence of femininity. That's like the result of it. To have true feminine embodiment is to understand what makes you so special and unique as a woman. It's to learn how to emotionally process your pain in a way that doesn't say that you're a victim that needs rescuing, but also allows him to help you, also allows him to get a peek into your vulnerability, which inspires him to want to protect you, which has him thinking about you as he falls asleep at night. A woman who has really embraced the healthiest version of feminine energy, which is being more present, being more in the flow of life, experiencing pleasure, creating beauty around her, understanding beauty and appreciating it deeply, right? So all of those things are feminine energy, as well as knowing how to contain her emotions. So when you're able to process your emotions and let a man see what it is that's hurting without expecting him to rescue you, that is highly magnetic, and that inspires the natural masculine protective inclination that men have so quickly. So to be present in your own life, to have natural feminine energy, to allow other people into your life, to show some level of vulnerability without it feeling like you are spilling emotions all over the place, that naturally inspires men. That's one aspect of what inspires men, because it's peaceful to be in the presence of a woman like that. A woman who doesn't feel like she has to be a boss babe 24/7 and isn't solely focused on work or on proving that anything you can do, I can do better, right? Like a woman that isn't focused on that, but instead knows her own unique worth as a woman, and who allows him into her inner world without spilling it all over the place, without being so emotionally messy that it's overwhelming for him. And that's a very difficult thing to master, but that is the core of what makes a woman a muse, because a woman like that becomes something that a man wants to protect, wants to cherish, wants more of. The second part of truly being a muse for your man is to understand the differences between men and women. And this is insanely important because they are small, subtle differences in the way that we communicate and the way that we process, men versus women, that if you just understood them, would change the way that you disagree, would change the way that you let him process and argue. It would change everything. And so women that are truly inspiring to the men in their lives, they understand how different the masculine is from the feminine. And this is really insanely refreshing for men, because most of us aren't taught how to understand men, right? We're only taught our own internal perspective. It takes a high level of critical thinking to really understand the opposite sex. It really does. So, to give you an example, when you are having a disagreement with a man, he generally needs time to emotionally process. And if things get too heated, he will shut down, not because he doesn't care, but because he's then protecting his own vulnerability and he's processing. So what most women do is you have an argument, he shuts down, you go, why aren't you talking? We have to talk about this, starts following him around the house because you're feeling panicky, right? Like you want the reassurance that you're still loved and everything's okay. But for him, he just needs time to think. And so a woman who is a muse for her man will notice when he starts to shut down and say, I'm going to walk away now. Come back to me later when you're ready to talk. And I still love you, right? That is insanely refreshing for men, because most women never do that. Most women are so focused on what they need in a disagreement that they forget that he has his own needs too. Like we often look at relationships and think that the blueprint for a healthy relationship is for men to act like women. And men aren't women. They're different. They process differently. Their hormones mean that they react differently to things. And so understanding some baseline differences about men is part of what will make you so inspirational to him. It's part of what makes him cherish you, because you become his piece, right? A woman who is elegantly detached from outcomes. She's not chasing him for specific outcomes. She doesn't need him 24/7. She's not getting upset if he's not, in contact with her 24/7. She just gives him a level of peace because she understands the differences between men and women. A woman like that is refreshing to men in such a way that she can stay his source of inspiration forever. Another huge difference with women that are inspiring to their men versus not, and how they bring him peace, is when they understand that the baseline of a good man, right, like a decent man. I know there's a lot of rubbish men out there. I get it. Okay, so I'm talking about a baseline good man wants to be purposeful. He wants to inspire you. There's a fly. Ah, why is there always a fly? Can you hear it? No, probably not, because I have a microphone. I digress. So the baseline for a good man is he wants to be useful to you. And so many of us forget that because, like, I don't know about you, but I grew up in the 90s, right? I'm a millennial. Half the commercials on TV use that song, Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better. And it was about, like, women versus men. We were taught to compete with men. Ugh. Like, I'm not here to compete with men. Men are so different from me. They're not my competition. I am my own source of competition, right? And so the way that a lot of us were taught growing up is to compete with men and to prove that we're independent, that we don't need men. And yes, you should be independent. Like I work, I'm the maid breadwinner in my family, right? I earn more than my husband, and we have no issue with that. He earns great money too, but I earn more. I have my own bank account. I have my own, like, independence is important. It truly is, as a woman, so that you're never left in a situation wherein you are left defenseless if anything goes wrong in the relationship. So yes, that's important, but the balance is, whilst you're in a relationship with somebody that you love and trust, letting him help you with things. Men just want to be purposeful. In many ways, men are like golden retrievers. Seriously. Like that's how that whole black cat and golden retriever trend started on TikTok, was men truly are like that. Men want to please you at the end of the day. They have depth of emotion exactly the same as us. They just show it differently. But at the end of the day, their wants and needs are quite simple. They want to feel useful, they want to feel purposeful, and they want to feel appreciated. So if you're able to do those things for him, there is no length he won't go to keep you. And it's things as simple as, I can't open this thing. Can you open it for me? Like, when you go to open a pickle jar, and we don't do this manipulatively, okay? Don't make up scenarios so that he can help you because you want to feel helpless. But it's like, if you go to open a pickle jar, just asking him to do it if it's hard. Like, if it's hurting your hands, they've got 50% more upper body strength, just freaking hand in the pickle jar and let him open it. He'll beam. He'll feel so happy. Same thing with lifting heavy things. Like when we go to get groceries, I always ask my husband to unload the groceries from the car. I can lift it. I go to the gym. I have good upper body strength. I can carry the groceries in, but why would I exhaust myself when I can ask him to do it? And it makes him feel useful and helpful. And then I get to show appreciation. And speaking of appreciation, that's another huge aspect of being an inspiration for men. My husband the other day, okay, so I'm sitting there, I'm working, and I was thinking, I would really love a cup of coffee. I'll go make myself one soon. And then like half an hour takes by and I still haven't made myself a cup of coffee. And I was like, God, maybe I should just go get one instead. It's faster, because I was so busy. He walks in without me having asked with my favorite almond latte. I clapped like a seal. Like, I was so happy that he brought me the thing that I wanted without me having even asked. And I gave him a big kiss and I told him, thank you so much. I was so tired. I needed some caffeine. Thank you. Right? Men thrive on that. He was happy the rest of the day because I showed gratitude for something that he had done. Like, men are layered. Yes, they have their complexity. Yes, they are just as deep as women, but they are so simple with what it is that they need. We think about relationships very differently. Let him be useful. Let him be helpful. Assume that his biggest intention is to be purposeful to you, and then show appreciation. That's it. That is so inspirational that a man who has a woman like that will never want to let her go, because it's rare. Having that kind of energy is very rare. And number 3, and this is the most important, is to be your own source of inspiration first. So this is the part that I see so much feminine energy content out there really skip. Men find you inspiring when you are inspiring to yourself, right? If you're not waking up in the morning excited about your day, if you don't have hobbies that light you up, if you are bored by your friendships because they talk about the same crap all the time, if you are exhausted by what it is that you do for work, if you're not making time for yourself to take care of yourself, you're not inspired by your own life. And if you're not inspired by your own life, how on earth is he supposed to be inspired by you, right? So there is something highly magnetic about a woman who is inspired by herself. So a muse is a woman who has her own inner world, right? You are excited by the life that you're leading, and you work specifically to curate everything in your life, right? So everything from your hobbies to the food that you eat, to the conversations that you'll entertain, to the kind of treatment that you will allow in your life is all based around your standards, and your standards are selected very carefully, right? So you're not waking up and just flying by the seat of your pants all day long. Like, you are actively thinking about what it is in life that you love, what it is in life that inspires you, and you are working to ensure that you get enough of that, right? You love art, you're making sure that you go to museums because you know that lights you up. You love beautiful food, you're making sure that you get to nice restaurants, or you're cooking incredible meals at home because you know that that lights you up, right? So a woman who is inspirational truly understands herself, because when you know yourself, your personality, the things that you value the most, the things that you desire, the goals that you're working towards, when you know all of that intimately, and then you start to design a life around all of those things, around your standards in life, around your goals, around the things that you love, when you do all of that, it's like he just takes a step back and looks and goes, her life is so fulfilling. If I want to be part of that, I better step up and be incredible for her. And so you simply being yourself ends up being such a great source of inspiration for him that he gets inspired by you. So I have seen this with my clients before, where they will be dating a man and they'll say things like, "Oh, I love fitness and I did, this thing at the gym the other day." All of a sudden next week, he's sending her a picture of him having done the same thing, where he's like, "See, like, I also like fitness. Are you proud of me?" Because you inspired him that deeply. Again, men want to be purposeful. They want to be useful. Good, decent men want to be part of your world, right? For us, one of our greatest core needs is to be understood. And men need that as well, but it's almost like if you look at the hierarchy, that the greatest thing that men need is to feel like they are purposeful and have direction. And you being your own greatest source of inspiration, you leading a beautiful life, and then welcoming him into it, that gives him purpose. Because then it's like, okay, so if these are her standards and I want to be a match for those standards, I need to do XYZ thing to ensure that I am the right man for her. And so you being inspired by your own life becomes a source of inspiration for him. It will inspire his masculine energy like nothing else. All right, and part 4, and the last part, is being a muse who is actually sovereign, like emotionally sovereign, who actively engages in self-leadership. Like, she's not looking to other people for advice. She's not outsourcing her opinions to 20 people. She's not leaking all over the place when she feels emotional. Like, she truly leads herself. A woman like that is inspiring to a man because she doesn't have pick me energy. And this is what I think a lot of the courses out there, a lot of the content out there gets wrong. Like, you're not waiting for him to pick you. You're not waking up in the morning and saying like, "Oh, I hope I can be inspirational to my man today, because that would just make me happy, because I'm not happy unless I'm inspiring a man somewhere," right? Like, it's not about that. As I've said above, it's about your own emotional sovereignty. It's about being your own greatest source of inspiration. It's about understanding him in a way that makes him feel truly loved and seen. Not taken for a ride, but like, you see him and his differences. You appreciate his masculinity. Those things are inspiring to a man. And when you're doing all of those things, you become a very sovereign woman, right? You're not overgiving. You're not over-explaining to him all the time. You're not performing softness. You're not tolerating nonsense either. Like, you don't tolerate breadcrumbs in your relationship because your standards are so high and he wants to rise to meet them because you're a match for your own standards, right? The muse archetype is truly rooted in self-leadership. She's not chasing. She's not convincing. She sees clearly. She is able to communicate really cleanly. She allows men to show her who they are, and then she decides if they're the right match for her, right? So if you've ever seen a woman who's like, "Oh, I'm just going to track his location. I wonder what he's doing," right? Like, "Oh, he shared his location with me. I wonder if he's still there." Or she's afraid that he'll cheat, so she's like asking him 20 questions every time that he goes out. Or she is really hoping that he treats her well. So on Valentine's Day, she's like, "Where did you book? Where are we going? Did you book something for us? What are we doing?" Right? That's not allowing him to simply show you who he is. And so a woman with true inspirational muse energy, she's just letting him be. And it's like, you either rise to my standards or you fall away. It's up to you. And that gives men something to work towards because they don't feel suffocated. One of men's greatest needs is to feel free. They want to feel like they had the choice to be with you. And for a lot of women, one of our greatest needs is to feel chosen. And so sometimes the way that we try to feel chosen is we chase and chase and chase and chase. But then that means he doesn't feel free, he feels suffocated. And so he's going to run away, which is going to make you want to chase more. And that's a recipe for disaster. That's not inspirational, right? That's not inspiring to him. And so truly being a leader in your own life, that is what activates muse energy. That is the overarching thread with all of this. That is the theme. That's it. So if this is landing for you, generally it means you are so done being over adapted, right? You're done like chasing relationships. You're done having average relationships where sometimes you watch a movie together and mostly you discuss logistics throughout the day, and that's about as far as your relationship goes. Or you're done with chaos in your relationship where you chase and chase and chase. You're over it, and you want to truly become the leader in your own life. You want to become the muse of your own life. And as a result, be his greatest source of inspiration too. If you are craving all of that, I've got two things for you. Two, not one, but two. So the first is the Muse method. So that is my signature course. It has absolutely gone off on social media and had the most incredible results for the women that have taken it. And it's got 5 different parts. It's audio drops, so it's so easy to listen to. I work with ambitious women for the most part, and so my clients are busy women. And so it's just audio drops. You don't even have to watch it. You listen to it on your phone. Well, you can really tell I'm a millennial because I just use the phone. Nobody does that anymore. Anyway, you can just listen to them on your phone, and it's super digestible. So they're like 20 minutes to half an hour each, which is amazing. I do not waste time with my courses and content. I don't waffle. I don't tell you 20 stories. Like I get straight to the point so you get the juice. So you can have the Muse method. That's 111. The link's in the description. The other thing is the throne room, which goes even deeper. So that's 55 per month. And that is a membership wherein you get consistent voice note drops. Like just already the last week, I've done 4 different voice note drops between 10 and 15 minutes each on things like polarity, emotional sovereignty, on feminine energy, on psychology, on shadow work, right? It's my work is very much grounded in both science and a little bit of the woo, right? A bit of spirituality too. There's both in there. And so if you are tired of living a life that is good, and to you that's average, like you're not here for good, you're here to live a life that is incredible. You're here to be a leader. You're here to inspire yourself on the daily. If that's for you, if that is your standard in life, then you want to be in the throne room. It's so, so good. And there's also weekly coaching, so you can ask questions every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.